This is a OnePlus 3. This is also a OnePlus 3. So why do you need a OnePlus 3T? It's been 5 months since OnePlus burst onto the scene with the OnePlus 3, a cut-price flagship killer, even though we don't really like using that phrase. So what are the differences? Well, the only difference design-wise is the colour, which is gunny metal-y. And then this is the old one, which is graphite. That's what the word they've used. It's kind of hard to see in some lights. It's just all the best bits of many phones put together. OnePlus 3 have kind of suggested this themselves anyway, that they look at all the benchmarks set by other brands and try to match them. So you've got kind of an iPhone sheen to the back with aerial lines that look a bit like an HTC, you might think, and then Samsung thinness as well. It'll also be available, not quite yet, but soon, just in the 64GB version in the soft gold colour as well. So what's under the hood? Well, most high-end phones today are pretty similar and it's kind of splitting hairs. But this has Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 821 processor, which is paired with 6GB of RAM, which in real-world terms means it's incredibly fast. It's one of the fastest phones we've used. It's up there with your iPhone 7, Samsung Galaxy S7, and even the Google Pixel as well, which has the same processor. It's available with 64GB of storage, which is non-expandable, but also it's available in 128GB as well, which is great. So on the rear, just like the OnePlus 3 did, you have a 16-megapixel camera, but unlike the old phone, and part of the upgrade here, is that you have a 16-megapixel camera on the front as well. So I'm just going to break the fourth wall for you there. There's Dom. But it's amazing, it takes great quality images, and if you're into your selfies, or if you just want to do kind of like a live, like a Periscope or something like that, it's going to look really good. Skype will no longer be a nightmare. Another thing we really like about the hardware is the fingerprint sensor, which is on the front. Still my favourite place to have one. Some manufacturers are putting them on the back, but I still like them down on the front. It's so quick. Opens the phone with a little buzz, rather than having a physical moving button, but it also does act as a home button. So if you open an app, go straight back home. And much like Apple's new iPhone 7, doesn't move, but it kind of is much more subtle in the way that it buzzes. Also carried over from the OnePlus 3 is fast charging via the USB-C port, which many Android manufacturers are now putting on their phones for fast charging and data transfer. The one thing that you have to be aware of is that it will only fast charge the OnePlus 3T with the included charger in the box. You need the brick and you need the cable in order for fast charging to happen. So there's a slight software change from the OnePlus 3. This has a slightly updated version of its own Android skin, which is called Oxygen OS. It makes some pretty cool tweaks to the system, and it's just lightning quick to use. I really like the app tray. It's just really intuitive. There's good customization options. And as you sort of buzz around the phone really quickly, might I add, everything is just immediately accessible. Nothing lags. You can have tons of apps open at once. You might be thinking, how much does it cost? OnePlus doesn't really like being known as a good value brand, but it kind of is, because this phone will only cost you £399 for the 64GB and then £439 for the 128GB. So at the moment, and we're in November at the moment, the OnePlus 3 is shipping with Android Marshmallow 6.0, which is what the UI runs on, and it's got some cool little tweaks to it, recent contacts, a little manage center and everything like that. But OnePlus has promised that by the end of the year, so within December 2016, you will get an over-the-air upgrade to Android Nougat 7.0, which is good news. Not many phones have that yet. And in case you're here and you're wondering, your old OnePlus 3 will also get the same update, so you're not going to miss out on anything if you don't want to upgrade. So this is the OnePlus 3T. It's out now, and we thoroughly recommend it.